part of the island at one of our favorite campuses because at Mount Carmel School they are holding the business fair. It's an event that I know Chris had a vested interest in. Some of his kids went to, or at least one of your kids went to Mount Carmel, right? I love covering the business fair as a business major. I think it's a fantastic idea. Joseph O is in the KM News Zoom room right now, and we are Joseph going to take a very, very high level, and I guess that's the right way to show it, the entrepreneurship, the critical thinking, the selling ability. I mean, you guys run the variety and the gamut of skills at teaching these young minds how to be proper business people, right?
Right. We encourage the kids to be as creative as they want to be and still have that tie to like the reality of actually running a business and all the startup costs and expected profits.
So a lot of like young people, they especially like at that age, they just think it's like, oh, okay, well, I might have some baseball cards or basketball cards, or like I know how to draw and things like that. And I've heard because like everywhere over the internet, you can be your own business person. You too could be the next. You could create the next Google. You could create the next Facebook, what have you. But what are some of the questions that tend to bubble up the most when these young, impressionable, creative minds think about like actually turning this into a working business?
Well, I've been working closely with all the students with all of their projects. So I've seen it all, like from students wanting to start up like businesses that they see and they go to themselves, or like businesses that their parents are involved in. Like there's this one business where his dad is a masseuse, and he opened up his business fair project with opening up his own massage parlor.
Very nice.
It's stuff that the kids really enjoy doing.
Well, that is a business lesson right there. Like if you've got, like, if it's in your lineage, if you have the pedigree to get into a certain industry, you could either continue that tradition. You could even, build upon it, make it your own, keep up with the times and, become, even more successful. And, what parent wouldn't want that for their kids?
Right. And along with keeping up with the times, some of these students have opened up like businesses that relate to current problems, like the masks, and they opened up like COVID-19 safe shops where they can buy like sanitizing equipment and customized masks.
Very cool. So it's timely and topical. Very, very nice. How much direct instruction, or how much let's say rules, right, did you have to apply to the young entrepreneurs? And are you seeing when they come up with like their ideas, are they more on the product side, or are they more geared towards like offering services?
Well, a lot of them are geared, I think it's like an even split between offering like goods and services. Some of them just choose goods for the most part. Yeah.
Okay. What, from the student's point of view, what are the parts that they find to be like the most difficult, or like the ones that either are the most boring, even? Because like at that, like finance, right, didn't make any sense to me when I was that age, but now like I'm all about the stock market. Like it's fascinating when you're a little bit older. But what are the parts that they maybe have some trouble with?
Well, a lot of the students had some trouble figuring out some startup costs, like how are they going to get the product and sell it for the same amount of money that they bought it for. But I went ahead and informed them that the reason why that prices cost this much at the stores they go to is because the store owners bought it for a somewhat cheaper price, and that's the way that they make money. That's the way that the world works.
Exactly. Well, and that's a perfect segue, because even though we know the Mount Carmel School, you guys promote a spirit of family. You're all one community if you belong to the Mount Carmel society, let's say, right? Like everybody's on the same page, everybody works together, everyone succeeds together. We're all in this as one campus family. And yet business is competitive. Like if I'm walking in there and I'm either a potential customer or a potential investor, and I've only got $100 to my name and everything, and I'm going around shopping and everything, I can only spend so much. So how do you kind of like work the competition angle in?
Right, I do. I do encourage that the students choose whatever business that they want to, and as long as I prove that it's like appropriate for the middle school grade level, um, they have some competition. Well, there's like only a limited amount of there's only so many different kinds of businesses that they can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
So there are conflicting businesses, but they don't really compete with each other in that sense. But maybe if they see each other in the judging area, they could. They sometimes do form that kind of competition mindset.
Yeah, the business fairs that I've been fortunate to cover over the years, I mean, they've always been, kids are always running around supporting each other, saying, like, if a judge walks around, they say, oh, sir, check this out. Like, this guy's really, really smart. He's my friend. We have the same class together. He's my cousin.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, that is a very valuable lesson about when you get into the business world that at some point it is going to be, there's only a finite amount of money that can go around, and ultimately you're all doing battle for that same dollar.
Right.
Okay, well, what surprises can we expect? Like as far as some of the ideas that kids come up with, or how ambitious are these kids getting with their concepts?
Well, there are like I think two students that chose to try and run a hotel business.
Wow.
And I think that's very ambitious, and it's very good to see that some of these kids have that kind of goals and mindset in their wheelhouse.
And that's interesting because Guam's bread and butter has always been hospitality and taking in Nafamaulig, taking care of each other and everything like that. To get into a hotel with the state of the world being what it is today and everything, that's unbelievably ambitious.
Right.
Yeah. So you must have the easiest job in the world, Joseph, to say like come up with an idea, you guys. Like if you have any questions, just ask me and everything like that. So how much guidance did you have to actually go around, and how much coaching and mentoring and refining of their ideas did you have to do?
Well, the most of it is part of just informing them what they are capable of. Like they can choose their whole name. They can come up with their own design for their logo, like their own slogans. Like it's very interesting to see how these kids think and how influenced they are from like media today, and see how they can grow. And my guidance in this project is only mainly towards the ending with helping these kids figure out some startup costs and like some real world kind of mentalities.
Mm-hmm.
But they for the most part, they come up with their creative aspects for the projects.
STEM, the whole science, technology, engineering, and math has been like such a big part of modern education for several years now, and it's really yielding very positive fruit. Were there any young minds and everything like that who were trying to put forth, like technology products, or like solve really big, global threatening, problems like from the healthcare sector, informatics, anything like that?
Well, last school year, we did have our first place winner, Denise. She won first place because her project was it was so tied to what was happening in the, in this current age. And her topic was a counseling service, which is something that I think a lot of these kids, may seek interest in, like with their mental health and such.
Sure.
Especially with the pandemic going
on. Okay. Well, I do not envy at all the judges and just the Herculean task they have in front of them to try and say, like, assess which idea or which business plan has been more refined and everything like that. So, what are the judging parameters that the judges will have to use in picking the winner?
Well, the judges have to judge based off of the criteria of the students advertising their business well, and like just explaining what their business plan is, like how they're going to get the money, how they're going to pay off their loans, and basically how they think their company can grow over the course of years or days, weeks, months, and years.
Very cool. Joseph,
Yeah.
man, do you mind if I ask you, is your background in like in finance or like in venture capital? Because it really seems like this year, and I think this is a wonderful evolution, let's say, of the business fair, is you're really emphasizing um, the financing, side of it. And, startup costs, it's so critical and everything, and being able to pay off those loans and not accrue, debt, and your burn down rate, is really. And I know in business fairs in the past, they've really made a conscious effort to say like the marketing is the big thing, and you got to get awareness out there, and you have to, get it out. So like, was that a conscious decision on your part?
Right. Well, that is important about the marketing aspect of it, but the students also need to, realize the real world applications to starting up a business. It's not just I want to, so I'm going to. It's I want to, so I have to think about how I'm going to get there.
Exactly. Yeah, the world doesn't run for free. Somebody's gonna have to pay for it at some point.
Right. Right.
Okay, so is this even with social distancing restrictions being the norm these days, and I shudder at saying that, is this an event that's open to the community at large, or like for parents and the MCS family?
Well, we do take pictures and we do post it to our social media, and all of this will be covered virtually for the parents if they would like to see it. And we have a Facebook page, Mount Carmel School Guam, and an Instagram page. I'm not sure if it's updated, but it should be.
All right. So we can all just follow along and watch their progress.
Right.
Okay, so before these young, the next great entrepreneurial minds and the ones who will take Guam's private sector and with products and services into a next era of prosperity, let's say maybe in another like 15, 20 years, right? As their teacher and as their advisor, as the fair begins, what are your last words of encouragement to give them? They've done as much preparation as they can. They've dressed nicely. They're ready to go. What's the final word you give them when the fair starts?
Well, I encourage all my students to do their best at, putting their best foot forward and giving it their best shot. Even if they don't succeed, I'm still so very proud of these kids.
Very, very, very much. Yeah, success is not just measured by what's on the balance sheet and everything like that. It is very broadly defined. So, Joseph O down at Mount Carmel School, thank you so much for doing this. It's a wonderful event for the community. Hopefully, in the next couple of months and everything like that, we'll be able to go down there and give it the coverage we always have, because it's a fantastic event. It's always a highlight of my year.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, good luck, man. So that is the business fair down in Mount Carmel. Chris, I know it's been a favorite of ours to write up. I mean, that's never worked for us. It's so good.
Fun times.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into some more news now.